It's 9:37 here on Delaware. I'm Peter MacArthur. Thursday, it's December 22nd. Appreciate you being with us this morning. If you have to travel today, do be careful. It's just a little bit dicey out there right now. Hard to believe, but we are at the holidays, at the end of 2022. A lot of news about layoffs and shifts of how companies are responding. At the same time, jobless claims are low. We're talking with Chris Burkhard, like we do on occasion, Placer Staffing. Chris, how would you describe this current situation and how employees and employers should take and interpret these updates?
Well, first of all, happy holidays to you and your listeners.
Thank you. You too, sir.
So I kind of made up a headline. I thought it would be fun. We could all use something a little looser. It's less inflation. Americans are taking more vacations. We're buying less material stuff, and there's plenty of jobs. So for the moment, Americans are still doing okay. We're spending money, and they've got some time. Now, I think the economy and the job market has some feeling, if you will allow a little Scrooge-like going into next year. And in what I do, I see a lot of very emotional reaction to the news of layoffs. There's this concept of loud layoffs, which is all these brands that maybe we have on our smartphones, like DoorDash or Twitter. It's just hard to miss. But I have a couple stats to get you and the audience in the holiday spirit. There's been a lot of IT workers that have been laid off in the last, 6 months. 3/4 of them have found a job, and over half of those have a job where they got a raise. And I think that's pretty neat to hear, because I think we need good news. The second thing is unemployment numbers came out this morning, and the last 4 weeks, our average is significantly lower than before the pandemic. So if you're a worker, there is such a long-term structural challenge where there just isn't enough workers that I think you're going to have, be able to pick your role long time into the future here.
Yeah, that is great news, certainly. We hit a new year, Chris, and ultimately people set goals for that new year, and including ones surrounding their careers. What are your thoughts on how to leverage the start of this new year to be able to make those goals into reality?
Pete, you often give me plenty of room to speak here, and I think this is my gift to your audience. I love this question, and I have two big thoughts. I spend my life with job seekers, and most people don't spend enough time on themselves. And what an absurd thought right now. You want the life you want, but we're awful busy with holidays and families and travel and all these things. But how often do each of us take an hour or two to work on what we want for our careers? So to get what you want in 23, block an hour, block 2. Grab a pad and paper and pen or a laptop, but find some quiet time and start thinking about yourself, where you are with your career and your skills. Do you like your job? Do you like your company? What do you think of your leader? What are your long-term opportunities there? Do you make enough money? Do you like where you live? But just take some time to reflect on your life and career. And if you do this exercise a few times, you might be surprised with the results. And then you can move on to other aspects of your life. The second really big thing is get yourself a career agent. Sports stars have it, movie stars have it, but find someone who can coach you. We don't do our own dentistry or sell our own homes, but man, we do manage our own careers. Yeah. And I think you can find somebody that can help you.
And I want to set up a scenario for this next question because it lends itself a little bit to what you were referring to. A job interview. And it's moving along, a lot of the standard questions that people get used to. And then there's the one, and we've all heard this one before, or asked this one before, depending on what side of the equation we're on. Can you tell me about a time you did blank, fill in the blank? And it's this formal interview question that, again, we've all experienced probably. Chris, what would you suggest that, first of all, employers or interviewers might ask instead of that? And if you're on the other side of that desk or table, how can those being asked that question maybe change up how they give the response?
I wish we could talk until 10 o'clock about this one, Pete, but, there's limits with that stuff. This is such a tough question on the interviewee and the interviewer, and I think it's one of those things that we say because we don't know what else to do. but you're asking this hyper-specific question, can you tell me about a time when, and where the interviewees don't have a specific answer for you to your specific question. And most times, just close your eyes and picture the last time you're interviewed. If you were prepared, you had one or two or three go-to stories that you're most proud of about your career that you use no matter what the interviewer says. Yeah. I think, please laugh with me a couple days before the holidays here. It's just the way it is. So at Placers, and we recommend and we teach this, use a chronological interview. Review a candidate's career journey from start to finish. Your objective is ask open-ended questions, get to know each role, understand big accomplishments. But here's the thing. It's so much easier for candidates. We all can explain our jobs and what we did and it's just take me through that in an easier fashion. And honestly, I think you learn more. The candidate feels like you're really digging in deep and getting to know them. And sometimes we just do stuff because we don't know what else to do. This is one of those things. If I have 100 hiring managers, they'd all be laughing right now, and I'm sure they're taking notes, because this is, to me, the whole thing that's kind of wrong with interviewing, and it could be improved so much if we just did this.
I just read, I can't remember the story, I just read an article about this question, about this situation, and the responses were amazing, because it's something we've all dealt with on the interviewee side, and it takes you back to that moment in time where everything is going along smoothly, and then you kind of hit this, it's a tough question to answer. And so I think probably your instructions or your recommendations would really serve people well if they were put to use. But
well, Pete, if you have time for one more thought,
yeah.
There are a lot of organizations that are actually going away from interviewing. And in some cases, they're finding their results of success are similar or equal, in some cases better than with the interview. So what I extrapolate from that is if you ask these same goofy questions, you may not really be learning much from the interview. And if you have a process of looking at someone's background and doing references and all the stuff you do to get somebody onboarded, interviewing done poorly has very little impact on someone's success in their job.
Yeah, great points. Chris Burkhardt's joining us, Placer Staffing. Appreciate you, Chris, and have a great holiday, and we will talk again soon.
See you in 2023.
Yes, sir. 9:46. Here on WDEL, this is Del Aware.